Hi, everyone. It's Lin Bouthillier from linbouthillier.com. I'm a certified trauma recovery coach, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of my ongoing series entitled Monogamous at 13. This is a video series where I speak about my own personal trauma, and I have multiple different forms of trauma since before I was born, all the way up to present day. And I view them from two perspectives in my videos. One is as the trauma and abuse survivor, and the other view is as a mental health professional who is an expert on trauma and what on earth we can do to not just cope with trauma. That's not the goal. Nobody wants to live with just coping. We want healing. But the healing comes through small understandings and really small doable steps. And one of the things that my videos do for my viewers is to help them understand that there is no big, huge, one exhaustive or a recipe of exhaustive things that we must do that are difficult and only for the highly, highly skilled. No, trauma recovery is for everyone. I work with trauma recovery with my dogs. My pets can do trauma recovery. Human brains are similar to canine brains. We get the same cancers, we get the same diseases as they do. And we have the same trauma responses that they do because we're mammals. But most important thing I can tell you is that in my videos, you will receive the truth. You will receive compassion. And you will be given pieces of information that will help you to live your best life as you heal your trauma. So with that, I'll begin. Today there is a trigger warning on my video. If you check the description page on all of my videos, there is a trigger warning on all of my full-length videos. It's in the description. But for some, I say right out loud, this is a trigger warning, and this is one of the times that I'm doing that. The reason for it is because for all trauma and abuse survivors, discussions about the holidays, trauma professionals have to just assume that these are triggering topics for people. Why? Why? Because if we have relationship trauma, a lot of that relationship trauma, you might not have full awareness of it, but much of it came around the times of certain calendar events. All the different events and holidays around the annual calendar, such as your birthday, time leading up to your birthday, time leading up to Christmas, time leading up to New Year's, the actual days of those holidays and events, anniversaries of when a loss happened, anniversaries of when something so traumatic happened to you that it is just emblazoned or carved into that day forevermore for your system. So I'm going to speak about some examples of that today. But today, more than ever, please hear me on this. I say this with such heartfelt compassion for you. If you are feeling in any way that my video is triggering you, and it very well may, please shut the video off immediately. Don't come back to it. Leave it for other people to watch if it's not for you. And when I say I want you to go into your highest, best self-care, I want you to drink something that is refreshing for you or warming for you, either a hot or cold beverage. Even if it's water, drink your water. If you don't care for anything besides water, water's perfect. Want you to do that, but whatever soothes you the most. And of course, I'm not encouraging anybody to use substance or alcohol. I would never do that. But I understand that many trauma and abuse survivors do have addictions to certain substances. We're not talking about that right now. I'm talking about what is the healthiest things for you to consume, okay? No shame there. I'm not shaming anybody. It's just not what I'm here for. But hydrate yourself. Okay, hydrate yourself, but also give yourself like the most delicious cup of coffee that you can make for yourself, or a cup of tea. Or I like to make bubble tea, so I have a case of boba that I cook at my house, and I have boba powders that I get from a restaurant supply store. My kitchen is set up to create things that will make me feel good when I consume them. And I have them in moderation, but I can tell when I need to go in and just go through my self-care things to bring myself into a state of anchor and groundedness, and to remind my inner being, my outer being takes beautiful care of you. If you need to get in a shower, just go take a nice warm shower for a while. If you get triggered, stop what you're doing, say, I'm gonna give myself 15 minutes. I'm going to take a shower. And then I might style my hair, or I might put on a different outfit that I really love to wear. I'm just going to do things to focus on myself for a while, focus on your pets. But we can all just take a little pause. And even if it's just for 3 minutes, give yourself self-care, but make sure it is something that you are aware that you are lavishing on yourself. Sit down and read your favorite, poem from your favorite book of poetry. Put your feet in some really nice, cozy woolen socks. Go outside and walk barefooted on your grass if you live in a temperate climate. There's lots of different things that you can do, but all of them should involve making yourself know, not think or feel, but know, making yourself know that you are a priority to yourself. That's the best thing we can do for ourselves when we're triggered. Absolutely the best is go right into our highest, best self-care. Oh, I have a little girly who is going to demand some treats right now. Be right back. Sorry about that interruption. That's what it's like when you live with little animals, little pets. I call them my kids. When we're a pet parent, sometimes their needs have to be met, even if we're in the middle of a video. All right, so I have my grounding tool. This is a new little holy stone that I found a few days ago at a beach on Lake Erie, just outside of Buffalo, New York. And I'm going to show you a few things that I use for the holiday season. And this year is my first holiday season with my mother, who has gone non-physical. Okay, my mother is not physically with me for this holiday season for the first time ever in my entire life. Many of you are experiencing that. Like I've said, there's going to be some painful things discussed today. There's going to be some triggering things discussed today. And we're all taking best care of ourselves. Okay, but this is about how we navigate the holidays. I know the holidays in the United States of America are different than what is experienced around the world. Even just across the border, just a few miles away in Canada, the holidays are different. Thanksgiving falls on a different day. I believe it's in October for them. But what we have, though, is general information here, which will apply to whatever holidays you experience around the globe. And I welcome people from far and wide watching my videos all around the globe. I have some people who do watch from Europe, some people from Australia, and I have a couple of viewers in India, and it's wonderful. I love that. But some of the things I'm speaking about today will not exactly match what they're experiencing or what you are experiencing. But what I'm saying is all of it can be applied to the holidays that you do experience, the ones you do celebrate, or the ones you choose not to celebrate, as the case may be. It's all about personal autonomy. So I'm going to now speak for just a few minutes about having holidays come, and there's so much focus throughout media, especially television, everything online, so much advertising, just bombardment with advertisement of families and friendships and wonderful times together. And for many of us trauma survivors, the commercials are entirely triggering. We can step away from that. If we have children in the house or other family members in the house, if they enjoy having television on and your nervous system cannot tolerate being exposed to that overstimulation, over emotional stimulation for this time of the year, it's okay to sit your family down and have a very, very heartfelt conversation and say, I'm taking really good care of myself. This is hard for me. This is painful or difficult for me. And I don't want to take away from you what you enjoy. But I'm asking if you could please give me some consideration and understand that when you're watching a really mushy holiday movie and I'm not emotionally in tune, I'm not in attunement with that right now. If you could please understand that I'm going to be in my room with the door closed, you're welcome to come in anytime you want. You can come and cuddle in with me while I'm reading in the evening if you want to. Take a break from when the commercials come on. Come in and dive bomb my bed. Come on in. Come in. Come and sit with me. Come and talk with me. But I'm going to be doing something. I'm going to be doing some writing, or I'm going to be doing some organizing, or I'm going to be talking on the phone with a friend for a while, or doing something that makes me feel that I'm okay when something like that's happening, not running and hiding from it, giving myself a little bit of insulation, a little bit of space between me and that overstimulation, with the full well knowing that it's my highest best self-care. I'm not running from anything. I'm giving myself compassion. I'm giving myself some safety. I'm giving myself some stability, some steadiness. And if the family wants to come near while we're doing that, then great. And if they say, well, I'm just going to let you have your space, your kids might be older and say, yeah, you do your thing. We're going to do our thing for a while. But when we ask for the consideration that we need, sometimes we get it. It's entirely possible that we get it. And if we don't get cooperation for that, this is what it would sound like for me if I wasn't getting cooperation for, some understanding for me saying, just for this example, when you guys are going to be watching holiday movies and, watching holiday videos and stuff like that, then I'm hanging out there, or I might even go out for the evening, but you can reach me. If you want to talk to me, no problem, call me. You won't be bothering me. But I just can't be sitting in that room trying to attune to all of this stuff where I might be going through some really heavy trauma right now, and I might be going through some grief, and I might be going through tremendous feeling of loss. And I'm better without that overstimulation. Okay, let's move on to the next one now. What about if we have to have time with people who are the people who injured us? If we have relationship trauma, or what we call interpersonal trauma, it can be difficult to be in an enclosed space with the people or the person who has done things like verbal, emotional, psychological abuse. There could be somebody who has done sexual abuse to us and it hasn't been disclosed in the family, and it is triggering isn't even the right word for it. It can just be sheer terror for some people to have to be even in the vicinity or even in the neighborhood of someone who has committed those kind of vile acts against us. What do we do? What do we do when we get an invitation to go to someone's home and we just know that it is going to feel like torture to be there? We have autonomy. We have the right to say yes or no. And when we have an invitation that comes and we begin to just feel absolute turmoil inside, it's like as soon as you see that it came in the mail, or if they sent you a message, hey, we're having the annual, Christmas Eve family gathering. We're all going to be at Aunt Susie's house. and it's, from noon until, midnight, and everyone's going to be there, and all the gift exchange and everything is going to happen there. And if that feeling, when that's being told to you or revealed to you or delivered to you, and you go immediately into a state of unrest, if you go into a state of angst, if you go into a state of having your autonomic nervous system trauma response engage in fight, flight, freeze, fawn, or any combinations of those things, that is our system telling us, I want not this. I don't belong there. I don't want to do that. If we have to, what we call, psych ourselves up to go do something, I've heard that come out my own mouth. Oh, I got to psych myself up for going to, my sister's house. Things like that. It's really, really, really a big clue that tells us this might not be what's best for me. It might not be. And if I'm already, this is the way I've reasoned this inside of myself before. If I'm already a scapegoated family member, if I'm a person that my siblings see as faulty, bad, broken, shameful, and malfunctioning, that's the best summary that I can give you for how my siblings view me. Faulty, bad, broken, shameful, and malfunctioning. Why would I want to, why do I want to be there? I don't. Do I have an obligation to be there for my children? I used to believe that I did. Even when they were in their teens and in their 20s, I still believed that I was supposed to be there for my kids for certain holiday things. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, just my own experience, my children had a much healthier mother when I did not subject myself to that treatment. That was the moments that they were having the healthiest mom, is when I was not putting myself into situations where I'm doing it to be a people pleaser. I'm doing this, because I had some pretty significant codependency going on. I was just pretty much supporting the toxic behaviors of other people, making the negative consequences of it go away for them, so that they would not have to recognize how awful they were treating other people, even in their own family. I felt like I couldn't stand the judgment. I couldn't stand the, I'll just call it what it is, the racism, the prejudice, the unwillingness to recognize other people who are different from them as people, hearing them referred to as an abomination. I can tell you, I don't see human beings as abominations, no matter how vulgar and terrible their behavior is towards other human beings. There might be a couple exceptions to that. What many of you who are viewing will know exactly what I'm referring to. People who want death and destruction. Yeah, I would say that's an abomination. But most people aren't like that. Most family members are not like that. And I truly resented that language being used, because it was extreme shaming language. And the whole concept that we experience again and again and again and again and again, especially at holiday family gatherings, is if you're not thinking, believing, and having a worldview same as ours, you can go now. You don't belong here. So then we do chameleoning just to be able to feel accepted. And many of us will understand right away this phrase: I can't even be who I truly am in the presence of these people, because they would chew me up and spit me out in a hot shit minute. They would. They would if I spoke from my authentic self right there and then with them. That's what would happen. I'd be shown the door, and I would be told what a horrendous human being I am. Sometimes it came in the mail after a family gathering. truly did. I would be sent books so I could improve myself. My own family sending me books, telling me how to be a better human being. So all different things have happened. Every one of us has our own interpersonal family story. Each one of us has our own intergenerational family trauma. What does that mean? We go to a family gathering. There's multiple generations of the family there. And some of these people have had horrible things happen in their lives. And some of them make horrible things happen in other people's lives. And some of them have had both. But if we're going into a space or expecting these people to come, let me rephrase that, feeling obligated, okay, as Dr. Susan Forward refers to it as FOG, fear, obligation, and guilt. If we don't do something that everyone expects of us, such as send out invitations for everyone to come to our home, highly judgmental people, some very highly narcissistic people, might even be some sociopathic or psychopathic people in this group, and invite them to come into our home. And we know before we even put the stamps on the envelopes to send out the invitation, I'm going to get hurt during that family gathering at my home. I'm going to be injured in my own safe space. Yeah, it happens. Doesn't mean that we are, masochistic. It doesn't mean that we have something wrong with us and we love to injure ourselves. No, it means that we're trying to fit into our family in fear, obligation, and guilt. Thank you, Dr. Susan Forward, for that expression. FOG has become ingrained in us, and we still might have a belief that we can't step away from that pattern. We can't break that pattern, or all kinds of stuff is going to rain down on us. Our phone's going to ring for days. People say, what's the matter? What happened? How come you're not doing this? If you don't do it, then it falls on somebody else, and they shouldn't have to blah, 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 blah. Some of us have fantasies that we can just live our life as if holidays do not exist. I've done that for a while. I pay very, very little attention to holidays. And some people read that as, oh my God, there's something so wrong with you. Oh man, you are so warped, you're so disturbed that now you've turned your back, not just on family members, but also on holidays. How can you not celebrate Christmas? What is wrong with you for not celebrating Thanksgiving? Oh, I can tell you how I celebrate Thanksgiving. I make tacos. I love tacos. And it feels so wonderful to me to make tacos that I absolutely love. I totally enjoy them. And it doesn't trigger me in the least. It just doesn't. So I just say, it's Thursday. I'm having tacos, and this is the day that I've planned out for myself. These are the things that I'm going to do that are the most self-nurturing, wonderful things to do. And it all usually works out really great, unless there's a snowstorm. Not so likely to have a snowstorm, but it could happen. That might change it a little bit. But I want to speak now about some things that we can do. Like I'm doing one of them right now. I have right here by my shoulder, right there, that light. That one has, it's a scent warmer, and it has, I bought this a few days ago, some woodwick, highly fragranced wax melt Fraser fir. I'll show you. See these little wax melts? Smells. To me, Fraser fir scent from woodwick is just so nice. I love it. It doesn't trigger me into a Christmas trauma response, because it's just a scent that I love. It's all it is. It's just a scent that I absolutely love. Yes, is it heavily associated with Christmas trees? Yes, it is. But do I put up a Christmas tree anymore? No. My dogs like Christmas lights. For a few days, I'll take some Christmas lights and I'll just kind of string them around the room. And close to Christmas time, I absolutely know that dogs can see some range of color, not the full range of color that we can see. But I know for certain that if I put Christmas lights on in the room, my dogs will lay on a surface pointing towards the lights. They like them. So I'll do it for them for a while. But it doesn't mean that I have to have Christmas cards and Christmas pictures and Christmas saturation all over my house. Christmas tree in this room, a Christmas tree. I used to do that stuff. And I did it while it felt good to me. And then some certain life events happened, and then it stopped feeling good to me. Feels far healthier to me to not have that stuff around than to just drag it all out and subject myself to that stuff some more. No, I don't need to. For some of us, it even has to do with the inner struggle about religion. It can have a whole lot to do. Christmas holiday can have a lot to do, and Easter holiday as well, have a lot to do with triggering the religious trauma from within our family, or religious trauma from within a congregation, or religious trauma from our elders, all different things it could have to do with. But because of the degree to which human beings are operating from their subconscious, there's just a whole massive hard drive inside of us, because the subconscious stores everything. And we might not even recognize exactly where. For myself, I refer to it as holiday weirdness. I just experienced some holiday weirdness at certain times of the year. And I noticed that it's here already, and I'm easily triggered. These things are definitely noticeable for me. I notice what comes up for me. And I know that because the subconscious is so huge, there's things in there that I might not be able to name, but I recognize the feeling when they're being activated, when they're coming up to the surface. And I might not have a picture to go with them to identify them. They might have happened before I was actually verbal, but I can recognize I don't feel good. What can I do? My question is always, what gloriously beautiful, sensitive, caring, compassionate, empathetic ways can I take care of myself so that I feel good? So I feel okay. So I don't want to take to my bed, and I don't want to overfunction. I want to be right in the middle, right here, not pendulating all the way, overfunctioning in bed, overfunctioning in bed. I want to be in the middle. I want to be just pendulating like this, where the healthy range is. And if I have awareness that such a healthy range exists, that's a huge part of doing it right there. Just being aware that it exists. Oh, okay. Yep. I have a tendency to, when I'm stressed about holiday stuff, yes, I go into overfunction mode for sure. But I also have a tendency to go to underfunction mode. And I am not comfortable in either one of those areas. And I don't want any person or group of people on this planet to have the power to push me into a state of underfunctioning or a state of overfunctioning. I will decide my level of function very much. Thank you. I meant to say thank you very much. So, excuse me, I just need a sip of my drink. All right. So what can we do? What can we do if we're missing somebody from our family really, really bad around the holidays? Or anytime, actually, it doesn't have to be a holiday, but what can we do if we're just missing them so badly and it's distracting? Many of you are having your first holiday without a loved one with you. And many of you are, estranged from someone that you long to be with. And I am too. I'm experiencing estrangement from one of my children, and I absolutely long to be with her. I had to go through a long process of grief counseling, doing a lot of grief work to process being in a state of full estrangement from her by her choice. She wants nothing to do with her mom. When I long for my child, when I want to contact her and I want to just send her a text that says, I just want you to know how much I love you, I can't do it. I've been strongly advised by professionals, do not do that. Mental health and relationship experts say, nope, doing that is you hoovering them, and it could injure them, and it could totally trigger them and make them feel awful. So I don't. But that's one of the biggest things that's a real bugbear for those of us who have significant trauma, is that when we long to be with someone who either has passed on or they want no contact with us, and we're not welcomed. Our messages are not welcomed. A Christmas card or a letter is not welcomed. A text is blocked. You're blocked on all social media. You cannot have contact with them. What do we do? How do we get through these days? Well, I'm going to show you a couple of mine, and I'm not saying that I think you should do them. I'm just going to show you a couple of them to give you an idea. My mom passed on May 2nd of this year, 2024. This is her rosary. This is from when she was a girl and she went to a Catholic school. And I believe that she may have received this rosary at her first Holy Communion as a gift, possibly from her parents or her grandparents, or maybe from an aunt or uncle or someone. But this beautiful crystal rosary was on my mother's person, on her body, when she passed. And I am not a religious person anymore. I was raised Catholic, and I don't pray the rosary, but I have tremendous appreciation for this rosary. I truly do. And to me, this is just an absolutely precious object because it was just very, very valuable to my mother. And so I had it in my pocket, knowing that I was going to show it to you today. But normally it hangs on a hook just above the fireplace on the other side. Fireplace in this room has a fireplace on the opposite side too. It's a kitchen fireplace, and it's where it hangs. And I have another thing in my lap. This was given to me in February of 2017 when my father went non-physical. And my mother invited me over to her house, and she gave me this shirt. And she said, you gave your father this shirt for as a gift for, one of the holidays around the year, but you gave him this shirt. And it was his favorite shirt. And she said he just loved how soft and light the fabric was. And on a hot summer day, this was always his preferred shirt because it was comfortable for him. And she said, I think that he would want you to have this shirt back that you gave to him. So I keep it in my dresser drawer. It doesn't have the smell of my dad anymore, but it was on his person. And so these two things comfort me. I had a very tumultuous relationship at times with both of my parents. It's confusing for our nervous system and for our emotions when we have a tumultuous relationship with someone, because there are such complex feelings. There were the abuse factors. There's the longing for acceptance and love and to be cared about. And there were flashes of moments when it was absolutely clear to me that my parents both loved me. But I had times in my life where I absolutely believed they did not. And it's complex grief, because when those traumas are present, it's automatically complex grief. It's just the way it is. When we have grief for someone with unfinished business, that's complex grief. There's lots of different ways that it occurs. But it makes me feel better to have these things than to not have these things. If somebody came to my house and said, I'm just taking these 2 things from you, I don't think you need them, I would be pulling back and saying, no, you're not taking these things. So that tells me that they do have some comforting for me, because it would feel worse to not have them than to have them. I love having them. They make a difference for me. So what if we want something like that, that was something from the loved one, but we weren't given it? And let's say, for instance, we experience a loss, and there is nobody gave us anything that was special to that person, and we don't have anything to hold. We don't have anything to keep in a special place, a keepsake that was theirs. Well, we can create one. Yeah, it's just as effective. It's a very, very wonderful thing to do. We can take any object in the world that we feel really, really, really would have been loved by them. We know what that person's preferences were. If we know their favorite place to go for a walk, we can go to that place and pick up a stone, or we can take a little piece of tree bark from the ground, or we can just take some little memento from that space, whatever it is, whatever comes to your mind, and you have access to it, just some little treasure from there. You can choose something that was from what they love. If they absolutely loved their Catholic faith, you can go to a shop and buy, and there are some cathedrals that have little shops inside of them. You can go, there's one a few miles from my home, which is a basilica in the city of Lackawanna on Lake Erie, and you can go in there, and they have a little gift shop. And my dearest friend, went in there and bought some things when she knew that my mom was on hospice. She went in there and she bought some little prayer cards and a little stone with a cross carved in it. But we can find little mementos from the religion that they practiced, if that helps us to feel connection to them. But those little things can very much help us. So sorry about little Hazel's bark. She's on guard duty right now, and there's neighbors on their walk. She's letting me know that they're out. Thank you, darling. Thank you, Hazel. Okay, thank you. All done barking. She always has to get the last word. But we can find things that, if we miss somebody tremendously, especially at holiday time, we can soothe ourselves with having little things that represent them. Not obsessively so, just a couple of them, 1 or 2, and just know that they're there, and it's our connection to them. I have something I can hold that makes me feel that real clear connection to them, because if I'm feeling that I need connection to them, I can give myself connection to them. If feeling connection to them feels far worse than being separated, then no, we don't torture ourselves with things that wouldn't feel good or soothing to our system. And it's okay. There's no shame involved in this. You do not need to feel shame. Or another way I can say it to you is, you can't get it wrong. You cannot get this wrong. So you don't even have to worry about whether or not you're doing it right. But there are some things, and I'll be making more videos to help people to understand what is the best way that we can take care of ourselves through the holidays. Okay. It's just early November now, and I have much more stuff to share with you that's going to help you get through this time. And so I'm just going to make a category of holiday videos. Okay, so coping with the holidays videos. for my viewers. I really appreciate that you're here. If you like this video, please hit the like button. It would help me so much in the YouTube algorithm to be able to be seen and to be found by my trauma survivors and abuse survivors who are looking for support. It will help me to be connected with them. If you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and put comments in the comments section. Really appreciate it. Another thing is, this is what I always say at the end of my videos. If you're looking for someone to be a one-on-one co-equal support for the trauma that you are recovering from, you absolutely can reach out to me. I would love to work with you. I am accepting new clients, and I work on Zoom, or for people who are local to me, I work in person, if possible, whenever possible, because that human connection is so important. But I would absolutely love to hear from you. You can reach out to me to find out about setting up a discovery call where you get to ask as many questions as you want. I do charge a small nominal fee because they can run, up to or over an hour on the phone of having discussion about how trauma recovery coaching works, what it is, and what we can expect when we're experiencing certified trauma recovery coaching. But feel free to give me a call anytime, send me a message. You can reach out through my website, which is linbouthillier.com. You can email me, lin@linbouthillier.com, and you can call my phone, 716-994-3052. You have to dial 1 first in the United States. And at any time, if you decide that you want to find out more about trauma recovery coaching and how it could help you, I would be so happy to hear from you. Okay. There's so much to be offered for you. Please remember, self-care is never, ever selfish. It is essential to our well-being, and that you are infinitely worthy of your own trauma recovery. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.